All right, we're about to talk about something special, man. Before I get into that, thank you guys for watching. This is Khalid One. If you are watching, thank you again. Please like, subscribe, share, run the YouTube channel up, run the Instagram up, run the TikTok up. Also, if you are watching, please like, subscribe, shoot a follow to the Viral Way podcast. As you know, you can catch me on there as well. Keep that movement moving. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, just yesterday, we got news of the passing of James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is an actor who was a Darth Vader. That's what he's famously known for, as well as Mufasa, amongst a lot of other projects that he has done. I do want to say, thank you to James Earl Jones for, paving the way for Black people in film, in the entertainment industry. Want to thank him and for leaving behind such a great body of work for us to enjoy, and for others to enjoy for as long as it's around. So I do want to give a shout out to James Earl Jones. Say rest in peace to James Earl Jones. My condolences go to him or his family at this time. Um, and again, thank you for the work you've done and the work you've left behind. So why I wanted to bring him up was because I've been seeing a lot of things about him and his conversations that he's had on Black women. And so I'm here to really just get in that today and see what it looks like. Word on the street is James Earl Jones dislikes Black women. And so I never knew that. I'm a younger cat. So I've only known him for, the acting ability. And I think, in the time that he came up, that might have not been so viral because back then, you could say more and be a little bit more vulgar and truthful and get away with it. So it's possible that we missed that. Do I think that the Black women or his conversation on Black women, because I've already watched it, but I'm going to watch it again. Do I think it was harmful to a certain degree? Yes. Um, do I think it's misguided? Yes. Do I think it's a little bit ignorant? Yes. But I do have a little bit of an issue with after James Earl Jones passing away for people to be bringing this up again as kind of some type of smear campaign uh, when he's already passed. Let that man rest in peace. Whether y'all like it or not, disliking Black women while being a Black man is not a crime. It's not a crime. As far as we know, we don't know anything else negative about him. So I feel like to bring that up after he's passed or the same days he's passed is kind of a smear campaign. It's very distasteful, and it's very nasty. But I'm going to get into the video without further ado. All right, let's see what we're looking at.
When you realize bloating and discomfort don't have to be routine, everything changes. Try Rise Mushroom Coffee with 6 functional mushrooms that heal your gut, improve digestion, and boost immunity. A better routine starts here. The future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI capabilities for more customization, more time, and more growth. Speed up your website copy with an AI text.
Jim, do Black men marry white women because of the nature of Black women? I know in some of our earlier conversations, you mentioned that the Black women you've met have been uptight. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll answer the one question, what do I mean by uptight? Going toward a more militant attitude about their own identity. And in many ways are way ahead of the Black man because I don't know why, but in many ways are replacing the Black man. There's a whole, there's an almost unfeminine aspect of the Black militant woman.
Okay. So I know you already heard that. Let's keep it 100. Do I think that in ways the Black woman is ahead of the Black man? Most certainly. I think that's by systematic design, though. I think that when you look at a lot of corporate places, when you look at a lot of different businesses, they will, for the diversity hire, they will take a black woman and put her in that position, but they won't put a black man, especially in corporate. And that's no knock to black women, because we appreciate y'all for being militant. We appreciate y'all for, taking the opportunities and advancing our culture and really taking a lead within our culture, because a lot of us as black men have failed to do so. So I do think, that black women are a little bit more militant and a little bit more headstrong maybe than other women. But when you look at our culture and what has taken place over time, they have demasculated the black man, stripped him of, I feel like, a sense of self, a knowledge of self, and therefore the woman has been the breadwinner in the family due to the systematic oppressions that have been put on black men. But not only that, but due to black men's ignorance as well. Black men don't want to, at this point in time, I think a lot of us don't want to be the man of the house. We say we want to be the man of the house, but we don't have the tools to be. We don't have the discipline. That's one thing that we lack. We don't have the work ethic, right? We don't have the emotional control. We don't have the emotional intelligence to lead our partners, not only financially, but emotionally, right? You need that work ethic to be able to say, I'm going to work hard for us, and I'm going to be disciplined. So I'm going to clock in and do this every day. And then also you need that emotional intelligence and that emotional stability to be able to keep everything together, while at times, women move like the water. So they might be in an uproar today, and tomorrow they might be, very shallow pool. So it really just depends. And so being a man, you have to be able to kind of take control financially as well as emotional and combine those into one. And I think that due to things like mass incarceration, due to things like the crack epidemic, due to things like hip hop being, one of the biggest genres of music, those things have taken black men and put them in a different direction. Meanwhile, black women have stayed on the course of trying to better the culture and the community. And so I think that's what you're seeing now. So James Earl Jones, and I think the result of that is black women being, to a certain degree, upset, because, when they look out here for their white counterparts and they look at the men they're with, or their Spanish counterparts, and they look at the men they're with, those men seem to have it more together. Now, we obviously know, within the economy, people are sort of doing the same all around. But I think black women's gripe is that they look at other men and cultures with their women, and they have more of that financial stability as well as that emotional stability, which gives that man the ability to lead his home a little bit better. And I think black women, to a certain degree, are more militant because of that. So while we can sit up here and 100% blame black women for being more militant or more strong, we also have to blame ourselves as black men for creating the circumstances to a certain degree for them to have to be that way. With all the systematic oppressions that we've had, we could still turn it around and be that man that leads financially and emotionally. But we still are carrying a chip on our shoulder. We're still walking around with a lot of the same excuses, while the black woman, to a certain degree, doesn't have those excuses. She's not necessarily using those excuses. She's out there going and getting it. Let's keep it 100. They're more college educated. They're I don't want to say they're more of the breadwinner, but it seems to be in a lot of situations black women are leading. And so before, again, when James Earl Jones says this, he's speaking from a point of being rich, right? Obviously, he's an actor, a movie star. So for him, he doesn't need a woman to lead. But I think that he's out of touch in this take, because when you look at the average person, especially in the black community, a man might not be, again, fit to lead. And therefore, that creates resentment in our woman. So let's keep it going.
Do you find that some black women you've known out of your personal experience blame the black man for what happened to them in slavery even today?
Of course. If the black man, regardless of the causes, failed to protect her, left her in a position where she had to sell herself or bargain with her body and so on. Yes, she had there's resentment about that, but it's very complex now. You see, I think in another generation you'll get a whole crop uptight about their position in society. There are many, because I'm generalizing now, many are overreacting against Aunt Jemima, the Aunt Jemima image, the submissive Mother Earth type, unselfish, all giving, especially all giving to the white man, sexually and in the kitchen, every other way.
Okay. Now, that might offend some people. But if we're going to keep it 100 about black women, and I don't want to say all black women, but I think that there has been a sentiment of black women, I don't want to say overreacting, but definitely distancing themselves from that Aunt Jemima, Mother Earth kind of woman that's super submissive, super feminine, super willing to take care of kids and do all these things and just be that mother at home. I do think that our women have distanced themselves from that. I do think it is due to, again, if you look to your men to protect you and they couldn't, you would have to take that upon yourself to advance and protect yourself. And so therefore, I think that's why they have distanced themselves from that motherly sort of role that other women flock to. But I also think it's due to, entertainment and the media has been armed against our people more than anybody. And so I think there's been a lot of images in entertainment and media that have promoted distancing themselves from that Aunt Jemima or that motherly, image. I think a lot of musicians and rappers and actors have came out that are black women and have kind of promoted distancing themselves from that. So while I think, again, there's accountability to be had, when you can go all the way back from slavery with black men not protecting their women and making them feel safe, I also think you can put it on the imagery and the subconscious programming that the entertainment industry and the media have, put on black women to make them feel as if they don't need their man or as if they are supposed to be less feminine and distance themselves from that motherly image that we see. So I definitely think that is something that goes on. And I do think that creates a disconnect between black women and men. Because when you find a black man that wants to lead, when he has the finances down, and then he also has this emotional stability down and intelligence, he's not necessarily going to want to deal with somebody who doesn't want to take heed, who is not submissive, who is, maybe more militant, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not able to tap into the femininity aspect of being a woman when the right man comes along, this is where the problem lies. And I think a lot of times that is what happens within the black community, because black women maybe have to go for a while, being that man, quote unquote, right? So I agree with him to a certain degree, but again, I still do think it's a nuanced conversation.
And she's also overreacting against the problem of having to be the breadwinner, the matriarch of the house. The myth of the black matriarch is really a myth, because she is not. It wasn't her choice. Many black women, I'm sure, once they found this job had a certain social and political dignity to it, relished it and wielded the rolling pen, like any minority group mama would do. But no matter how much she might relish it, it wasn't her choice to begin with. She would always have preferred the black male to have run the house, to have saved her from white rapists and white slave owners.
Why did you marry
I agree with that.
Jim? But first,
This
do you know what Jim means by by the uptightness of black women?
Oh, yes.
You've been in the theater.
Well, I've felt it. I've sensed it with almost every black woman that we know, whether they accept me or not. You know, whether there's always a tolerance, but there's always hostility behind it.
Now, this is where I have the problem. This is really where I have the problem. Everything James Earl Jones has said so far, again, there's nuance to it. So while I think some of it is ignorant, I could see some of his point, but I also see the other point of it. But this right here, this is the mistake that black men make too often. When they date interracially, they use that interracial relationship as a ha-ha, look at me, F you, to black women in the community. This is a mistake that some of us make, right? And you can see it here. We down talk black women in front of other women. And naturally, those women are going to then think they can do it too. But when it comes to the black community, this is an A and B conversation. So that means between black men and black women. You being a white woman, you need to see your way out of it. You get what I'm saying? And the fact that she feels comfortable enough to even speak these words, y'all really shouldn't even be mad at her. You should be mad at him, because she wouldn't feel this comfortable to say that if she wasn't sitting right next to bro. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times we give white women, Hispanic women, other women the ability to then trash our women from our community because we sit next to them and we do it in front of them. And that's crazy to me. You should never do that. You don't have to dim somebody else's light to let this person's light shine. You get what I'm saying? So you don't got to talk bad about black women just because you got a new one, whatever the case is. Now, where I'm going to get into the nuances, do I think that there can be some hostility she's faced due to being a white woman with a black dude? Of course. Of course. Black women aren't going to like that. Some black women are really not going to like that at all. And that's just what it is. Anybody who's in an interracial relationship is going to face some sort of hostility from the opposite race due to them not liking that. But again, the way you react to it is very telling. What she said was that she's faced hostility from every black woman, almost every black woman she's came into contact with. And she said, whether they accept me or not. Now, whether they accept you or not, that doesn't make sense to me, because if they accept you, then how could there be hostility there? Unless that's the eyes you're viewing it from or viewing it through. So it's very telling about his wife at the time, or whoever she is, because her view on black women is they're hostile, they're negative, they don't like me. You know what I mean? That's her view on them. Now, my question is, I wonder if she's ever tried to get to know a black woman in depth, really try to embrace the culture in depth, understand the nuance of why black women might be upset with you when they see you just off face value. Have you tried to understand why that is the way it is? Or have you just taken this sort of victim mentality and, oh, why are these people looking at me this way and this and that, and then you've internalized that, and now you're looking at them with a grudging look, right? So I feel like that's what it is. I don't want to say it's more so black women being hostile. It's more so the way she's looking at it. You got to accept that's what it's going to be, but you also have to dig deeper to understand why. And then at that point, I'm not saying show every black person that's hostile or black woman that's hostile that you're rocking with us, but you need to be making it known that you're rocking with us. This is not making it known that you're rocking with us, period. So this is a no-no right here. This is the mistake we make, though, and especially with niggas, they get a little bit of money and everything changed. They stop dating their women. They talking down on their women. They become a Uncle Tom in a way. And that's just what it is.
I can understand it intellectually. Thank God I didn't have to go through the process that made it occur. I happen to think it's a good thing that they're showing hostility. I think it's the only thing they can show at the moment. And I think out of the hostility, I think that's a healthy sign.
She thinks that's the only thing they can show at the moment is hostility. That is very, very telling about how she thinks and how she views black women. And this is why, as a black man, sometimes dating interracially is probably the wrong idea. You have to really vet the woman that you're going to be with and make sure that if she is not of your culture and your community, that she's going to respect it. I'm not saying 100% they're going to understand everything. You might have to teach them things. If if in the name of love, that's what you're willing to do, I believe that that's great. That's cool. The heart wants what the heart wants. But in this situation, this is a viewpoint to me that is something that just didn't happen overnight. It's not like she just started dating this dude and was like, oh man, all of a sudden, this is how I feel. This is something you can tell that she's felt about black women. So the viewpoint of black women are only able to show hostility at this point, and that's a good thing, is wrong. Black women are able to exhibit many emotions, the same thing as black men. But the reason why her viewpoint is rooted in racism, maybe from the past or her family or whatever, is because most people, due to media, due to propaganda, due to politics, assume that black people only react in a few ways, which is anger, which is being a hypersexual being. Those are one of the two things, especially with women, black women. That's how they feel about them. So for her to say that is spot on to me of what somebody who views black women in a negative way, they would say. They would say that. So this is a big no-no. I don't think it should be a smear campaign, especially after somebody passes away. I think that, again, being a black man and not liking black women, it's not a crime. It's not a crime. Um, you know, it just depends on the way you do it. I think in this conversation, he was out of touch, and then she was also out of touch. But it's due to him more so, I think, than anything, allowing that goofy shit next to him. And that's crazy, But overall, what we can learn from this is something that I think has been around forever, which is there's going to be some people who, have to, again, shit on somebody else to, feel better about themselves or about their relationship or whatever the case is. So James Earl Jones, rest in peace. Uh, I do think this was, not a good idea. I mean, he stood on it because there's videos of him in older age talking about it as well. So this is his viewpoint. You know what I mean? That's your viewpoint. Cool. You stand 10 toes on it. What can we really do about it besides talk about it? But I think that too many times, black men and even black women, when they date outside their race, they give the other race power and the key almost to go ahead and trash their race. And I just think that's disrespectful. Again, when we're talking about the black community, between black women and black men, it's an A and B conversation. So if you're interracially dating and whoever's, not of our community, you got to see your way out of it. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you are watching, like, subscribe, share, run the algorithm up. Kali the One, man. Also, tap in with the Viral Wave podcast. As you know, you can see me on there. Keep the movement moving. Yeah, I don't know where y'all going, but you got to get the hell up out of here.